Hello, YouTube. It is January 16th. Already the 16th. Damn. 2024. It is 9:21 a.m. It is cold as shit in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. You don't need me to tell you that. A lot of stuff happened in the NBA yesterday. Obviously, Martin Luther King Jr. Day yesterday. So, a busy slate of NBA games as per usual. And there was some interesting stuff. Some interesting results. Some interesting storylines. Some returns. Draymond Green, his first game back with the Warriors. They lose again. They're now 4 games under 500. We're going to talk about them. Jimmy Butler comes back for Miami. He goes off against the Nets in an overtime win. A score out of the 1990s, 96-95 in overtime. A lot of stuff happening across the league. The Lakers get a win against the Thunder? What? Derek Lively back for the Mavericks? That's where we'll start. Derek Lively back for the Dallas Mavericks. They pull out a win against the red-hot New Orleans Pelicans. This roller coaster of a season for the Dallas Mavericks continues. They win games you wouldn't think they would win. They lose games you wouldn't think they would lose. A homestand that a lot of us had circled for the Mavs. 7 games against some pretty tough opponents. Of course, when this homestand started, we thought like John Morant would be back for the Grizzlies and stuff. Unfortunately, he hurt his shoulder right before this. But a 7-game homestand, the Mavericks go 5-2 over that stretch, including some pretty impressive wins, obviously. The Knicks, who are 5-0, winners of 5 straight going into that game. The Timberwolves, the Pelicans, some pretty strong wins. Of course, a 20-point blowout loss to the Grizzlies without John Morant, without Jaren Jackson Jr. Marcus Smart got hurt halfway through this game. Pretty inexcusable loss there. A loss to the Pelicans, where the Pelicans were resting 4 starters. But then a win against a healthy Pelicans team. Make it make sense. I don't know. A healthy and rested Pelicans team. I don't understand them. Nobody does. Kyrie Irving goes for 42 points. Tim Hardaway Jr. goes for 41 points. Derek Lively in his return has 12 rebounds, 7 offensive rebounds. Just a crazy game with a crazy ending. The Mavericks, it felt like, executed on pretty much every play down the stretch that they needed to execute on. It was pretty impressive. And here's the thing. The Mavericks are now halfway through the season. They've played 41 games. They're on pace for 48 wins, which is pretty good. Pretty good. I believe their over-under on wins heading into the season by Vegas was like 44.5. I mean, it wasn't a lot. On pace for 48 wins, despite all of the injuries that they have endured so far this season. You could definitely make a case that this team gets relatively healthy, maybe makes an addition at the trade deadline, who knows. I'm still of the belief, I don't really think, if they do something at the deadline, I don't think it'll be anything too big. This team could push 50 wins, which is what you would like to expect from a Luka Doncic-led team at this stage, 6 years in, that you would hope that the Mavericks were good enough to regularly get 50 wins. THA had to drop 40 for us to stay in the game. Well, yeah, I mean, the Mavericks were shorthanded. Here's the record breakdown for the Mavericks halfway through the season. 24-17. Can I just say, I really don't like that the All-Star break happens like 60-plus games into the season. It's kind of weird to me. Not 60-plus, like around 60 games into the season. It's just weird. It doesn't make sense. Like usually the All-Star break is smack dab in the middle. Well, yeah, the All-Star game's shit, but 24-17. They're 21-13 when Luka plays. So 2-4 when he doesn't. I'm sorry, I can't do math. 3-4 when he doesn't. That's not horrible. They are 20-10 when Derek Lively plays. So 4-7 when he doesn't play. 15-10 when Kyrie plays. Luka plus Lively, 19-8. Luka plus Kyrie, 12-8. Kyrie plus Lively, 12-6. And all three of those guys, 11-5. So 41 games into the season, the three best players have only been on the floor together in 16 games. You think they'd play better if the All-Star game was in the summer? Fuck no. No one would show up to that shit. In the summer? I don't think you can fix the NBA All-Star game. I don't think people are going to care. Like, World versus USA is the only thing in my brain that makes sense. It's something that could get competitive. How many teams in the West would beat a fully healthy Mavs team in a playoff series? So the Mavericks have a decently high ceiling. I don't think they're a championship team. Has the All-Star game not been 10 times better the past few years? Last year's All-Star game was a joke. Last year's All-Star game was one of the worst I can remember. Unless I'm misremembering something. So the Mavs are currently the 6th seed, which means they would play the Nuggets in round 1. Jesus. Yeah, I don't see that one going well for the Mavericks. However, everyone else ahead of them, Timberwolves in a series, I don't know. The Mavericks obviously wouldn't be the favorites in that series. I don't know if I would bet on the Mavericks, but I could see a world in which they win a series against the Timberwolves. I could see a world in which the Mavericks win a series against the Timberwolves. Thunder, again, I could definitely see a world in which the Mavericks win a series against the Thunder. The Thunder are just super green. Mavericks have guys who have been there. Clippers. Fuck, I don't want to play the Clippers in the playoffs again, man. It's at least not in the first round. At least not in the first round. Clippers would be tough. I think the Mavericks could definitely hang with them. Everyone else, I would straight up pick the Mavericks to beat in a playoff series. Every other team, I would pick the Mavericks to beat. The Nuggets are the only team that I could say with utmost confidence the Mavericks have no chance to win the series. The three teams around them, the 4 2-1s, Timberwolves, Thunder, Clippers, I could talk myself into the Mavericks winning that series. Kings, I would like to think the Mavericks win that series. Like, I'd be disappointed if the Mavericks don't win that series. Pelicans, I'd be disappointed if the Mavericks don't win that series. Suns, Jazz, Lakers, any of these other teams, like the Mavericks would need to win that series, or else I'd be very upset. But they need to be healthy. We're talking about like a fully healthy Mavericks team, though. Yeah, this team is built. The Mavs are built for the playoffs, for sure. I mean, that win against the Pelicans was massive. Massive, massive, massive. I think they said during the broadcast the Mavs have 4 games left in the division, with 2 of those being the Spurs and 2 of those being the Rockets. So if they take care of business in those games, the Mavs will have a pretty damn good division record, which would give them the tiebreaker over the Pelicans. They've already beat the Suns once, so they have a good chance of having the tiebreaker there. Got to win these Kings games. I believe the Clippers have the tiebreaker over the Mavs. So we'll see. This team gets somewhat healthy. I think they could easily push 50 wins. But again, they got to get healthy. The Pelicans played too much team ball. They were taking the ball out of their best players' hands yesterday. Well, it's funny because that team ball is what beat the Mavericks a few nights ago. But yeah, yesterday was just weird. I mean, the Pelicans are just the Pelicans are a roller coaster themselves. Same record as last season during this time. Yeah, but the team's nowhere near comparable to last year's team. I mean, I keep seeing that get brought up. The team is nowhere near comparable to where the Mavericks were at this time a year ago. Like, just genuinely nowhere near comparable. Yes, the schedule remains brutal to close out the month for the Mavericks. They play the Lakers Wednesday night in LA. The Lakers maybe figuring some stuff out. Just got a nice win against the Thunder last night. We'll talk about them in a bit. The Warriors, Draymond is back. The Warriors aren't very good. You'd like to win that game, but it's still the Warriors. Then Celtics, then Phoenix. Atlanta's a mess. Kings, a very important Kings game. Of course, that's on the second night of a back-to-back. Mavericks only play the Kings on back-to-backs, it feels like. Wow, the Mavericks get a full weekend off. They haven't had like multiple rest days in a long time. Mavs Lakers games are always intense. Yes, they are. They are always intense. The Mavericks have beat the Lakers twice already this season, so they have the tiebreaker against them, which could be important down the line. Winning 2 out of 3 non-Luka games is underrated. Yeah, that's very big. It's hilarious that they one game they lost was the game they should have won. So the schedule is tough for the Mavericks. And we'll see. I mean, as of lately, they've been beating the good teams and losing to the bad teams. So this kind of bodes well for them. We'll see if they can keep that up. We need Lakers killer Dante Exum back soon. The Mavericks really do need Dante Exum back soon. I mean, his absence has been felt, especially since Luka's been out. Tim Hardaway Jr. is running pick and rolls and shit, and it's just ending a disaster almost every single time. So I'm starting college this week. Any advice? Go to class. Go to class. You don't need to go out on a weeknight. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. If you're going to a bar and it feels disgusting, it's because it is. Get out. It's because it is gross. If you're at a bar and there's liquid on the ground, it's sludge. Get out of there. It's disgusting. It's a shit place you don't even want to be at. No one you meet there is going to be a serious person in your life. That would be my advice. All right. Number one realistic trade target? I really don't know. Budget your time on assignments based on your weight in the syllabus? Yeah, you need to be more organized than I was when I first started college. I won't go too deep into it. Let's just say my first attempt at college was not very good. Yes. Sit down, map out your assignments, map out what projects you have due and when. Get a feel for your professors. Which ones are going to be hard asses, which ones aren't. I went out earlier. I went outside earlier. I have 2 pairs of socks on. I have 3 pairs of pants on. I had 2 hoodies, a long sleeve shirt, and a coat on. I'm not fucking around with this weather, man. I'm not. Yeah, Maxi coming back is interesting. He's going to have to hit threes, especially if he's going to play alongside Lively. Kleber's going to have to shoot. 3 pairs of socks actually makes it worse? Wait, really? So you've just never bought cold weather gear? I have like a pretty heavy coat. I mean, no, man. It's 110 degrees here for fucking 99% of the year. It's horrible. It's a miserable place to live. It should never be 110 degrees anywhere, ever. Yeah, Maxi shots looked a little bit rough. The moisture makes him colder. Okay. Used to be a sock salesman? Well, I'm not sweating. I'm moving my foot around. I'm not sweating. I got these bad boys on. All right. A great win for the Mavericks. Kyrie Irving's just been incredible. He's been absolutely incredible. He's not going to make the All-Star game just because he's missed too much time. He's missed an entire month. Highly doubt it. He makes it. You look at some of the other guards in the Western Conference. I mean, obviously Steph's making the fucking All-Star game. Like, let's not trick ourselves. But, yeah. Yeah. I could probably make an argument that Kyrie has been better than Steph this season. Why not? Yeah, De'Aaron Fox has been struggling a lot lately. I don't know. Have you ever been skiing? I have been skiing, yes. 37 points per game over his last 5 games for Kyrie. That's only the 3rd time he's achieved such a feat in his 13-year career. Incredible stuff what Kyrie's doing, man. What an incredible player. What an incredible player to watch. And also, too, he's just so mature now, you know? He's always been like a cerebral player, but it just feels like he's in such control of the game now. Like, he just looks like an NBA vet, which he is. He's just in control of the game. He knows how to pace himself. He knows the pace of the game. He can play within the flow of the game incredibly well. He's been incredibly consistent. He knows when to take games over. And even in games like in this game, he started off poorly shooting-wise, but none of the shots he takes, you're like, oh my God. Like, you know, even Luka at times, and I'm just using Luka as an example because he's on the Mavericks. Even Luka at times will get into like ruts within a game where he's taking, you could tell he's trying to shoot his way out of a rut or whatever. And the shots he's taking are just like, okay, we can get better shots than that. You know, you're settling for bad shots because you're frustrated or whatever the case may be. Doesn't really feel like Kyrie ever does that. And that's not something that's unique to Luka. A lot of players do that. A lot of players, whenever they're kind of struggling or, you know, having a hard time against defenses, will settle for bad shots in an attempt to shoot their way out of it. But damn, like Kyrie, like even the shots he misses, you're cool with him taking. ESPN. We don't want you to autoplay any video ever. You understand me? And Timmy, I mean, some of the threes he was hitting last night were just nuts. Absolutely nuts. So the Mavs get some guys back, and, you know, we envision a world where everyone's healthy. That'll probably never happen, but envision a world where everyone's healthy, and, you know, you have Dwight Powell off the bench 12 minutes a game maybe. That's good. Dwight Powell's been really good. He's been good since Lively went down with an injury and Powell had to step up. He's been good. A world where Maxi is probably also coming off the bench. That gives you another, you know, a taller dude, a lengthier dude who's good on defense. He can do a bunch of different things defensively. That's nice to have. Derrick Jones Jr., we know how good he's been this season. Exum gives you another ball handler who's good on defense and can do a bunch of different things and is a versatile player. And then we know what Luka can do. Like, when healthy, this is a good team. That's why, like, when people bring up they have the same record as last year, man, they're not even fucking comparable. Like, this team's not even comparable to the team last year. So anyways, the Dallas Mavericks roller coaster continues. The Mavericks roller coaster continues. The Warriors lose 4 games under 500 now. They've lost a lot of games. This one might be one of the worst. I saw someone who I won't name say that this Mavs team is losing games the same way as last year. If that were the case, they would have lost yesterday. Some of the recent losses have been akin to some of the losses a year ago, to be fair, but this is one of the worst losses of the season for the Warriors, which is saying a lot. Klay Thompson with 9 points. He had just a hilarious sequence where I don't remember at what point in the game it was. The Warriors were down and desperately needed baskets. Out of a timeout, Klay gets up 2 shots, misses the first one, which was a pretty decent look. Warriors get an offensive rebound. Klay Thompson gets the ball back and decides, you know what, I'm going to shoot a contested one-legged fadeaway on the baseline because I think I'd earned it. And then he clanked that as well. This team just doesn't play defense, man. Draymond slaying his team in the press conference. Yeah, Draymond in the press conference was pretty much like, we don't play defense. And think about this Grizzlies team right now. The Mavericks had a very embarrassing loss to the Grizzlies a week ago, to be fair. But this Grizzlies team, Marcus Smart, we already know. John Morant's out for the season. Steven Adams, Brandon Clark, all those guys out for the season. Desmond Bane is now out at least 6 weeks. Marcus Smart is out multiple weeks. And this Grizzlies team, man, G.G. Jackson, 23 points all over the floor. 2 steals, 2 blocks, playing defense on Steph. He's the youngest player in the league. G.G. Jackson is. Vince Williams Jr. is like unlocked on offense now. 24 points on 6 of 11. Jacob Gilyard had 2 steals and a block. He was all over the floor. All these guys just play hard as shit. I mean, this is a team that you can't really sleep on. Blues Beans being Shaq in the interview. Yeah, that was a cool moment. That was a cool moment. I was honestly kind of like, I'm not I don't do scouting and stuff like that, but I'll look around and just some of the stuff that I saw and heard about G.G. Jackson, I was like, I don't know. I don't know about him, but they got him in the second round. It wasn't like they gave up, spent crazy draft capital on him, but people were shitting on GG so much last summer. Well, I mean, he was bad at college, bad. But of course, you could see his skill though and everything, and he was the youngest player. He is the youngest player in the NBA. He just turned 19. He was 18 entering the league. Which I didn't think you could do. I thought you had to be 19 to get drafted. Did they change that rule? He was 18, 6'9", and athletic and skilled. People are overthinking that. Well, to be fair, there's always big athletes who come into the NBA and they're trash. I thought it was a rule you had to be 19 when you got drafted. Or is it you had to be 19 at a certain point in the season? Yeah, I mean, Cam Reddish is a good example. Cam Reddish is a lengthy, skilled guy who's just not a very good player. You have to turn 19 the year you get drafted? The calendar year or the season? I knew it was something like that. Let's look at the Warriors subreddit, shall we? Calendar year? Okay. So, damn, he barely, because his birthday is December 17th, so. We have at least 5 losses that could be the most embarrassing loss of the season. I think this is their most embarrassing loss of the season. I'm not going to go through their schedule, but this feels like it's the most embarrassing one of the season. Every time we say this is the worst, there's one worse. Oh, man. True, the Denver one was bad. They blew an 18-point game, and what was it, 5 minutes? Yeah, they got no defenders, man. No defender. Wiggins just doesn't care. And what do they do? I mean, do they really like go all in for Siakam at the deadline? I mean, why? Siakam's not saving you. And even, okay, Siakam stays next season. All right, Steph's a year older. You bring Clay back. Draymond's a year older. Like, what? Golden State fans are not used to losing. Well, to be fair, in their defense, this has been a very frustrating season for them. This isn't like they're just complaining about losses and they're, 7 games over 500 and melting down after every loss. Like, they're 4 games under 500. It's been a disappointing season. And what's crazy is in the final, like, the closing time of this game, the Grizzlies went on like a 3 or 4 minute stretch without scoring a point. And then they just went crazy at the end. 24 points for Vince Williams Jr. That was a season high for him. Luke Kennard was raining threes. 2 of 7. Must have just been when I was watching. He did have 5 assists. So I thought Luke Kennard played well. That's just why I'm shocked at his shooting splits, because he just jumped out at me as having a good control of the game. All superstars have sad endings to their careers except Tim Duncan. Yeah, very rarely do you ride off into the sunset like a Disney Channel movie. It usually ends like this, unceremoniously. Then you look back on it and you're like, wow, that was really the end of it, huh? Like 2022, the Warriors win, it was like, oh my God, the 2 timelines, like, holy fuck. I was listening to a podcast recently. Forgot what it was, but there was a Warriors reporter on there or whatever. And she made a great point. She was like, yeah, the Warriors to the 2 timeline thing, but then you look at it and nobody from the second timeline did anything really in that finals run. I was like, yeah, Kuminga didn't play. Moody didn't play. Was Wiseman on that team still? He was, wasn't he? Didn't play. Or was he injured that year? I mean, whatever the case is. Definitely didn't play. And then Jordan Poole, who was very big for them in that finals run, got traded for Chris Paul. We suck so bad. It's clear that we're too old, too slow, and too unathletic to seriously compete with anyone. That's what I'm saying. Like, it would be a pretty remarkable turnaround if the Warriors were somehow able to right this ship. Fire Mike McCarthy. Wait, what? What's up? Gary Payton is injured again. Gary Payton is just hurt all the time. He's Mr. Glass. God bless him. Fire Mike McCarthy. This guy's not doing himself any favors. Cowboys fan and a Warriors fan. Cowboys fan and a Warriors fan. Come on, brother. Although I'll keep saying this, there's no such thing as a Cowboys bandwagon anymore. What the fuck are you jumping on? What bandwagon are you jumping on? A bandwagon that's breaking down and falling into a ditch? This was supposed to be the win that galvanized the team. Instead, this is the game that gets Wiggins traded. I agree with this guy. Like, what is Wiggins' trade value? There's not teams lining up to get Wiggins. Ooh, Clay. They got to rip the Band-Aid off with Clay. You can't bring Clay back. I mean, you just can't. You can't give Clay a big contract. You just can't do it. And the thing is, who's going to blame you at this point? Like, the concern for the Warriors would be, well, we have to give Clay a contract. That's just a bad look. It's the business side of things. It is a business, and that's the business side of things. It's a bad look if you don't give a guy like Clay a contract extension. At this point, who's going to give a shit? Warriors fans will not care. Everyone around the league will be like, yeah, well, it was probably time to rip that Band-Aid off. If I'm the Spurs, I try to get Wiggins on the low. How bad do they have to be over the next month or so for them to, like, sell at the deadline? I mean, like, maybe Clay's gone. Maybe Draymond's gone. How bad? Where do they need to be around February 8th or whatever the trade deadline is? 6, 7 games under 500? I think if they stay where they are right now, they trick themselves into trying to make a move. They're currently a game and a half out of the play-in, and I get in their eyes, it's like, all right, just get into the play-in tournament with Steph and our guys, and we can do something. If they blow Memphis, oh my God, they're only 3 games ahead of Memphis. Holy shit. They're closer to the Grizzlies than they are a top 6 spot. Yeah, that's what it is. There's no trade that fixes this team. Oh my God, they're talking. Their pick. They don't have their pick this upcoming year. It's top 4 protected. They're talking about maybe keeping that pick. Holy shit. Oh man. Wow. Brutal. Great win for the Grizzlies though. How does Dean Wade look on the Mavs? That'd be kind of interesting. But why though? Are the Cavs trying to trade him? Another lengthy defender can knock down a 3 or 2. How about this win from the Lakers? Huh? I guess they own the Thunder. Good win though for the Lake Show. AD just continues to be really fucking good. Saw a lot of Lakers fans really impressed with Christian Wood's minutes last night. Cam Reddish has been out, and I think it's in a way like kind of helped this Lakers team get out of your own way and like play lineups that make sense. You know, put some shooters out there. Put some guys who can actually do some fucking things. It might end up being addition by subtraction. Not that Cam Reddish has been like horrible this year. He hasn't really, but a really nice win. They played really well defensively, I thought. The problems for this Thunder team that could come back to hurt them in the playoffs, I've said it. I have said it. Giddey, Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe, Jalen Williams, like that grouping right there, whoever's on the floor next to your big 3, and Dort, but I'm including Dort into this as well. You are going in a playoff setting, you are going to be so reliant on those guys to hit threes. Like that's going to make or break you as a team. In the playoffs, when teams clamp down and they're going to make life as hard as possible on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that's what they're going to decide. We're going to make life as difficult on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as possible. J-Dub and Chet, we're going to do whatever we can to game plan them out. Whoever the other 2 are, whether that's Josh Giddey, Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, Jalen Williams, whoever the fuck's out there, Isaiah Joe, who went 0-6 in this game, those guys have to hit threes or else you're in trouble. Because other teams will just put their centers on Giddey. I mean, who gives a fuck? We'll put our centers on Giddey, and we'll help off. We'll let him roam. these equal opportunity teams always look worse in the playoffs. Well, to be fair, the Thunder could be a good. I mean, they are one of the best half court offenses in the league, and Shea's very good at ISO ball. J-Dub is good in isolation too. Like, I think they'll be fine in that regard. But it is just like there's going to be a lot of defenders sent those guys' ways. And here's the thing with Josh Giddey. The Thunder take him out of the game when they need offense. They take him out of the game when they need stops. A lot of the times they take him out of the game in clutch situations. Who the fuck is this guy? You want me to take this guy seriously at all? You take him out of the game when you need anything. Thunder have absolutely no pressure to do anything this year. Yeah, that's a good point too. This isn't some make or break year for the Thunder. I still think the Thunder are going to be really good. I think they'll be good in the playoffs. But that's the question for them, ultimately. Will those guys step up to where they can punish defenses that will inevitably help off of, and in some instances, just completely leave those guys by themselves? And also, Shea didn't look great in this game, but he's dealing with like a knee injury or something. I think the Thunder played tonight as well, so he'll probably rest tonight if I had to guess. But yeah, not the best Shea game. But again, he was clearly dealing with some type of knee injury. I'm surprised they even played him, especially with how careful they are usually with this type of stuff. The Thunder. Did you see the Nuggets' funny injury report? No, what was it? Send it in here. I don't know if Shea's is good in the playoffs either. The free throws won't be there as much. I have no reason to believe Shea won't be incredible in the playoffs. I have no reason to believe that his game won't translate very well to a postseason setting. Yeah, Thunder play tonight on TNT. Oh, is this like the first time they're doing the players only one? Injury report heading into tomorrow's matchup against the 76ers. Wait, what's funny about this? A lot of people in the replies who don't understand this is hilarious. Trolling? They're trolling Embiid? Is that what it is? People like to make up this like Embiid Jokic rivalry in their head, but I don't think it exists. Wow, Nuggets Sixers tonight. Is Embiid? There's no way Embiid plays in this game, huh? Is Embiid going to play in this game? Second night of a back-to-back. He just came back yesterday. Did do some shameless stat padding. Did some shameless stat padding in that game. Oh, yeah, they are saying he's playing today. All right, Embiid versus Jokic. I mean, when was the last time we got that, actually? Well, let's go. That'll be a fucking blast. That will be a blast. Poorest defensive impact per EPM. Malachi Branham is not a good NBA player. Not a good NBA player at all. I always wonder what all goes into these stats, to be honest with you. Tim's 11th worst. Yeah. I mean, looking at this list of guys, what Wiggins is that? Is that Aaron or Andrew? Looking at this list of guys, nobody really jumps out here as surprising. Reeves being the second worst is actually a little shocking. Do I think Jeremy Grant is better than Tobias Harris? Jeremy Grant is, I think, a better player than Tobias Harris, but I feel like Tobias Harris might be a better role player. Does that make any sense? I listened to a podcast talking about that, a trade, and I was kind of surprised they thought Grant was a big upgrade. Well, if it was a 76ers podcast, they fucking hate Tobias Harris. So anyways, nice win for the Lakers. Maybe they're figuring some stuff out. still a game below 500, but they're kind of in this weird little limbo. Win a game, lose a game, win a couple games, lose a couple games. So we shall see. They do play the Mavericks tomorrow night. That's their next game. When is Josh Green available for trade? I'm pretty sure that's all. Like January 15th is like everyone's available now pretty much, right? All right, what else happened yesterday? Joel Embiid made his return after missing a few games. Came back against the Rockets. The Rockets are now a game under 500. They've been struggling lately. Embiid with 41 points, 10 rebounds. He keeps the 30-point, 10-rebound streak alive. Definitely some pretty intense stat padding in this game for Mr. Joel Embiid. But hey, he gets the job done. The Magic beat the Knicks. Nice win, though, for Orlando. It's starting to happen a little bit, guys. The Knicks are starting to get a little upset. Julius Randle's been great all year long. Everyone's been really happy with him. But it's starting to get a little ugly. Misses 2 free throws here. Yeah, no Brunson in this game. Misses 2 free throws here. Jogs back on defense. Horrible help defense. This guy just backdoor cuts. He's running away from the play entirely. He's guarding nobody. Wide open 3. Or Palo steps into a wide open 2. Yeesh. These are the moments. These are the moments with with Julius Randle. Knicks downfall. We get OG in the offseason. Yeah, that ain't happening. Yeah, no Brunson in this one, so. Tough one for the Knicks. Few low-scoring games last night. Pistons beat the Wizards in the Toilet Bowl Part 2. Of course, the hilarious irony. Kyle Kuzma tweeted earlier in the year, nobody wants to be that team to lose to the Pistons. And the Pistons, who looked like they were mounting another pretty historic losing streak. It kind of looked like they were on their way to another historic losing streak. Pull out a win against the Wizards. What was it, 7 straight before? They get the dub. Damn near 2020 from Jalen Duren. I'm not going to stop believing in you, Duren. 34 off the bench for Alec Burks. 8 of 12 from 3. That's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that this team lost damn near 30 straight games is insane to me. Just how difficult that is to do in the modern NBA. One, just because with 3-pointers, with how often teams shoot threes, like, you never got a performance like this from somebody like Alec Burks going 8 of 12 and having 34 points and that just leading you to a win. Like, that's insane. Giving up 130 points to the Wizards. The Wizards are like... So I've actually weirdly watched a lot of Pistons games this year. I know their record's so bad. I don't think they're actually the worst team in the league. As crazy as that is to say. If they went in a 7-game series with the Wizards, I think I'd pick the Pistons. I think the Wizards are the Blazers. The Blazers have like completely given up. They have completely given up. The Pistons still at least kind of play hard and have some interesting games. Hawks and Spurs, wow. Wow. The Hawks had a 35-point lead in this game at one point. And holy shit, they almost blew this. I know that the Spurs lost by 10, but this thing got dangerously close at one point. How close did it get? 95-102. Was that the closest it got? 7 points? No, I thought it was like a 5-point game at one point. This is where it happened. Okay. Wemby made a dunk that made it a 6-point game. Jalen Johnson turned it over in the backcourt, right? And then Keldon Johnson missed a layup that would have made it a 4-point game. And then it kind of went downhill from there for the Spurs. But my God, this is one of those wins for Atlanta where you're just like, wow, we fucking suck. Like, we suck. Yeah, and Wemby in this game, Wemby finishes with 26 points, 13 rebounds, 5 blocks, 12 of 18. I need you guys to understand really quickly here. Let me pull up the stats. I need you guys to understand something here. That in the first half of this game, okay, so look at Victor Wembanyama's stat line. In the first half of this game, Wemby, 0 of 4 from the field, 0 points. 0 points. Yeah, we already looked at that tweet, B-Dot. Wemby had 0 points in the first half and finished the game with 26. 26 points in the second half of this game, 12 of 14 from the field. Holy shit, this guy's incredible. This guy's incredible. If he stays healthy throughout his NBA career, wow, he's... The Mavs better get it going soon. That's all I'll say. The Mavs better get something going in the next couple years. I've been trying to tell you guys for a while now, like, hey, Wemby's playing some insane fucking basketball. And then the video I posted had some very late life about Wemby. Like it's at like 12,000 views, and like a lot of people have been watching it lately. And there's like always comments are like, yeah, they're terrible, and Wemby's shooting splits. I'm like, dog, watch the games. Do you like the Wemby stopper? No, I think this process will take like 4 or 5 years for the Spurs. But that means Wemby will be what, 24, 25? He's 19 right now, right? 20? Yeah. 24, 25 years old, and the Spurs will have like a good enough roster. Like that's where I think they're at with their roster. I don't think they're at a good place with it. Wemby has a very good chance to get a quadruple double at some point. A very good chance. Damn, he's crazy. Spurs roster's in a spot where they have 2 guys that'll be on it in 5 years. Yeah, that's probably the case. We already talked about Warriors, Grizzlies, Cavs beat up on the Bulls. Not a lot to talk about here. Heat beat the Nets. Jimmy Butler made his return, 31 points. That really is his picture, huh? Nice to have Jimmy back. Brooklyn fought hard, but another loss. Just kind of free falling a little bit. Whole lot of red. Jesus, there's a whole lot of red here. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 3 and 13 in the last 16 games. 2 of those wins against the Pistons, and then hilariously, 1 of them against the Thunder. Holy Moses. This is one of those teams that like you just need to make trades. Like you just need to break this team up. You know, like you just got to break this team up. You just got to break them up, man. Have you seen some games? King fans are already super mad at Mike Brown. Yeah, every fan base hates their coach besides the Heat. Yeah, Nets fans are irate at Jacques Vaughn. Jacques Vaughn didn't challenge. I mean, there was like a whole fuck fest for Jacques Vaughn. He's probably done. He's probably done at a certain point in the near future, I would imagine. Celtics beat the Raptors. Yeah, I saw the Dennis Schroeder. Brody for life. Go get that chip this year. PS top 5. Dennis Schroeder gave that that jersey to Jason Tatum. That's actually hilarious. That is hilarious. Halfway through the season, a guy on the Raptors is just like, hey, we don't got a fucking shot in hell. I mean, the players know. They're not idiots. Everyone says, we always think we have a chance. No. You've ever played sports at any level. You've been on a team before. You're like, oh, we suck. We suck. PS top 5. That's just disgusting. This is what people say. Like, there's no more rivalries in sports anymore. Where are the dogs? Obviously, Schroeder and Tatum are teammates, so. Tatum ain't top 5. No, I don't think there's much of an argument for Tatum top 5 this year. Just in terms of play this season, Embiid, Giannis, Jokic, Luka, and Shea. It's just, I don't know how you can have anybody else. I don't know how you could have anyone else in your 5. So the fun little post trade Raptors that ship has sailed. Losers of 4 in a row, 5 of their last 6. They're 10 below 500. It's time. Trade Siakam, please. Let's get this show on the road. Let's get this show on the road. And then the Jazz just continue to eviscerate teams. They blow out the Pacers. Sexton with 30, Markkanen with 32. This team is fucking good, guys. They're 15-5 at home, man. Look at this. Oh my god. I mean, they're on a crazy stretch of basketball, and I don't know how much of it is just they're red hot. And will cool off a little bit at a certain point, but the way that they play, they play in such a great system. They move the ball around. It feels somewhat sustainable to me, to be honest with you. Like, nothing that they're doing right now jumps out to me as like, oh, yeah, they're not going to be able to do this. Will Danny Ainge gut the Jazz get the deadline? I really don't think so. I mean, who would get gutted? Maybe they trade away John Collins, but I don't think that's changing much for them. And I don't know who would want that contract at this point. Maybe Kelly O. Maybe Clarkson. But they don't really need to do any of that. They already have a slew of draft picks. They already have a slew of young players. Like, they don't really need to. If they want to be good, they could be good. So anyways, that's what went down yesterday. Only 3 games tonight. Nuggets, Sixers. Let's ride. Philly 3.5-point favorites at home on the second night of a back-to-back. Interesting. Kings and Suns, that's even a pretty good game right there. And the other TNT game, Thunder Clippers. I mean, that's a banger. Hopefully Shea plays in this game. So a good slate of games tonight. A good slate of games. If you're watching this over on YouTube, you can check these out every morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on playback.tv/slightlybiased. If you're watching this on playback.tv/slightlybiased, you can tune in on the Slightly Biased Clips channel over on YouTube.